Welcome to another thrilling chapter of history, where empires clashed, cultures intertwined, and the fate of an entire continent was shaped. The Reconquista, a conflict that spanned nearly 800 years, was a defining moment in European history, where Christian and Muslim forces battled for control over the Iberian Peninsula. From legendary warriors to epic sieges, this was a war of endurance, strategy, and shifting alliances. Before we dive into this extraordinary saga, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for more deep dives into history's greatest conflicts. Are you ready to uncover the incredible story of the Reconquista? Let's begin. The Reconquista was not just a series of battles, it was a centuries-long campaign that shaped the cultural and political landscape of Spain and Portugal. It began in 711, when Muslim forces of the Umayyad Caliphate crossed the Strait of Gibraltar and swiftly conquered most of the Iberian Peninsula, leaving only a few northern territories under Christian control. This invasion marked the beginning of one of the longest and most enduring conflicts in world history. The Christian kingdoms, though initially fragmented, would slowly rise to reclaim their lands. This is the story of how a few isolated Christian strongholds transformed into mighty kingdoms, and how the Muslim rulers of Al-Andalus struggled to maintain their hold over Iberia. The 8th century saw the Iberian Peninsula as a land of opportunity for the Umayyad Caliphate. The Visigothic kingdom, weakened by internal strife and rival factions, was unable to mount an effective defense. In 711, Tariq ibn Ziyad, a Berber general, led an army across the strait and defeated King Roderic's forces at the decisive Battle of Guadalete. With the Visigothic kingdom in ruins, Muslim forces rapidly took control of major cities, including Toledo, Córdoba, and Seville. By 718, the majority of Iberia was under Muslim rule, marking the establishment of Al-Andalus. However, in the remote northern mountains, resistance was beginning to take shape. In the rugged Asturian mountains, a nobleman named Pelayo refused to submit to Umayyad rule. Gathering a small but determined force, he led the resistance against the Muslim armies. In 718, his forces won a pivotal victory at the Battle of Covadonga, marking the first significant Christian victory of the Reconquista. Though this was just a small battle in the grand scheme, it had immense symbolic importance. It proved that the Muslims were not invincible and that Christian resistance could succeed. This victory laid the foundation for the Kingdom of Asturias, which would inspire future Christian campaigns. Over the next 2 centuries, small Christian kingdoms, Leon, Castile, Navarre, and Aragon, began expanding southward, slowly reclaiming territory and forming the backbone of the Reconquista. As the 10th and 11th centuries progressed, the Christian kingdoms grew stronger. One of the most celebrated figures of this period was Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, better known as El Cid. A legendary knight and military leader, El Cid fought both for and against Muslim rulers, navigating the complex web of alliances and rivalries that defined medieval Iberia. The turning point of this era came in 1085, when King Alfonso VI of Castile captured Toledo. This was more than just a military conquest. It was a cultural and political statement. Toledo, a city rich in history, became a symbol of Christian resurgence, and its fall marked a major shift in the balance of power. However, this victory provoked a response from North Africa. The Muslim rulers of Al-Andalus, recognizing the growing Christian threat, called for reinforcements from across the sea. The fall of Toledo alarmed the rulers of Al-Andalus, who sought aid from the powerful Almoravid dynasty of North Africa. The Almoravids, fierce and disciplined warriors, crossed into Iberia and halted Christian expansion by delivering a crushing defeat at the Battle of Sagrajas in 1086. Though the Almoravids successfully reinforced Muslim rule for a time, internal struggles led to their decline. They were eventually replaced by the Almohads, another North African dynasty that took control in the 12th century. The Almohads proved to be even more formidable, winning significant battles against Christian forces. However, in 1212, at the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa, the united Christian armies of Castile, Aragon, and Navarre decisively defeated the Almohads, breaking their power in Iberia. Following the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa, Muslim control in Iberia began to fragment. Al-Andalus splintered into smaller emirates, making them more vulnerable to Christian conquest. King Ferdinand III of Castile capitalized on this weakness, capturing key cities such as Córdoba in 1236 and Seville in 1248. By the mid-13th century, Christian forces had retaken most of the peninsula. However, the Emirate of Granada remained a resilient stronghold. Through diplomacy and tribute payments to Castile, Granada managed to maintain its independence for over 2 more centuries. By the 14th century, only the Emirate of Granada remained under Muslim rule. However, the growing strength of the Christian kingdoms and internal divisions within Granada made its survival increasingly precarious. In 1469, the marriage of Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella of Castile united the 2 most powerful Christian kingdoms. Together, they launched the final campaign against Granada in 1482. After a 10-year siege, the city finally surrendered on January 2nd, 1492. Boabdil, the last Muslim ruler of Iberia, handed over the keys of the city, bringing an end to the Reconquista. The Reconquista was more than just a war. It was a cultural and political transformation that shaped the future of Spain and Portugal. With the conquest of Granada, the Catholic monarchs turned their attention beyond Iberia, leading to the Age of Exploration. However, the Reconquista also left a complex legacy. It reshaped the demographics of the region and laid the foundation for future religious and political conflicts. It was a period of both triumph and tragedy, of ambition and endurance. What do you think was the most significant turning point in the Reconquista? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. See you in the next video.